All right, guys, so welcome back again. So this is following on straight on from the conversation I had with Ben from Framework Fortune over on his channel. Go and check that out if you hadn't already and come back to this video. So just following on, basically, we were talking about different technical analysis for different charts. We were looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, the recent rise of Solana and Terra. And then we started diving in a bit more into Cosmos, into synthetic assets. So that's what we're going to do today, really discussing maybe some synthetic assets, how they work, a little bit about the Cosmos ecosystem, and basically any other questions you have, Ben, for me today. First of all, thanks for being here. Thanks for being on the channel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And I take it you're still doing well. I know it's been a few minutes since the last video.
Yeah, man, still doing good. You know, it's busy. Always doing something. There's no rest for the wicked. All that, got to keep going.
Yeah, and you do so much, on your channel with your stock trading and all of that sort of stuff. And you've got the crypto channel as well now. So, big props to you for managing to keep on top of everything.
Yeah, well, I don't know how well I'm keeping on top of everything. I'm just keeping it going. Doing what I can, I need about 3 more arms, and I'll be all right.
Yeah, you need like one of those Dr. Octopus suits from Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he gets
exactly.
Exactly. But anyway, let's move on to the crypto stuff. Today. You said you wanted to learn a little bit more about synthetic assets. It's kind of the last thing I remember you saying from the previous video. So I was just wondering sort of where you're at with those.
Yeah, so the synthetic assets, it's kind of an abstract concept to think about because there's synthetic assets of stocks now. If you think about it, a stock is really a synthetic asset itself. It's just, a piece of paper that says you own part of that company. It acts as the same thing, so it's kind of like a synthetic of a synthetic thing. What effects does that have on stocks? Because to invest in these synthetic assets, you have to buy them with cryptos, right? Can you buy them with straight USD or
yeah, they're traded in the crypto ecosystem. So US dollar tether, that kind of stuff. But also you can I think you can trade some of them against crypto. I'm not sure if they've made any pairs for those yet. Obviously synthetics is one of the biggest ones, which is on Ethereum. But if we want to stick with sort of the Cosmos ecosystem and Luna, Mirror Protocol's an application on Terra, which has got synthetic assets. So, maybe it's worth just bringing that up on the screen while we talk about them. There's actually quite a few synthetic asset issuers now, if you like, or applications where you can mint these synthetic products now. And I think it's a big sort of trend in cryptocurrency. That's why I'm invested in Injective Protocol, for example, which is looking to have sort of an unlimited number of markets, having synthetic stocks, synthetic assets of different cryptocurrencies potentially as well. But I think they have the spot market, so they'd probably be looking more towards other types of synthetics outside of just crypto tokens. But yeah, what you see there is Mirror Protocol on the screen, basically. Mm-hmm. And a synthetic, right, you know what a derivative is, I take it. It's basically an asset that derives its value from another asset. So you can have a derivative of gold, like an ETF. And basically, these derivatives get their value from gold. Any gold derivative gets its value based on the value of gold. As gold goes up, the derivative goes up, and so on.
Right.
It's exactly the same with synthetic assets. They're essentially derivatives, but they're just crypto-based derivatives. So you can get a derivative of a stock, which is produced through an application, a crypto application, such as Mirror Protocol. And it's kind of interesting. It means that people in the crypto space can get exposure to markets outside of the crypto space. And it's all done by code, of course, the way these assets mirror the value of say, stocks. But the way it's done is there's someone who will have some capital, and they'll lock up that capital as collateral to then mint the synthetic asset, which can then be traded on an exchange.
So basically the point of it is to give people in the crypto markets a way to invest in the stock market as well. I can actually kind of see one thing that I dislike about being a trader of multiple things is I have multiple platforms. So maybe with these synthetics, you could do your same trading and investing, but do it all in synthetics, all on one platform. Have your stocks, cryptos, gold, like you were saying. That may be what they're working on, because that would be pretty interesting.
That's pretty much the idea. It's permissionless as well. It basically, when you think of the ideologies of say Bitcoin and crypto, it's basically this ideology of permissionless access to um, money. First of all, with Bitcoin, to payments, peer-to-peer transactions, but also to um, banking services and basically financial services such as exchanges and trading different assets. Because at the end of the day, that is a financial service that people might not have access to, especially with derivatives, because you might need to be an accredited investor, for example. Or you might be in a country that doesn't allow you to buy US stocks. Maybe you're in Africa, maybe you live somewhere in South America, or maybe you're just in another country where you can't basically access certain stocks. So the idea of synthetic assets is that it's a decentralized way for people to permissionlessly trade assets based on a derivative or a synthetic asset that mirrors another asset or stock.
Now, I'm assuming it mirrors the exact price, right?
Yeah, as far as I
Yeah.
understand it, it mirrors the exact price. I think there can be some divergence in the price, maybe if it loses the peg, for example. So I can't tell you too much about the technical side of it all, but it needs to maintain the peg right to the underlying asset. But what I think is quite interesting with a lot of these mirror assets, such as with Mirror Protocol or synthetic assets, which is the broader term for them, is sometimes you don't even need a peg. It simply tracks the value of something else. Um, Really complex, actually, in terms of the everyday person understanding it. But the
Yeah.
long story short is you can trade assets that normally you wouldn't be able to, and you can do all of that without leaving the crypto ecosystem.
Seems like there could be a lot of potential with that. And that would make it to where you don't have to transfer gold and silver as much. I mean, you can buy gold and silver stocks, you can buy ETFs, but if you did just a synthetic of gold, that should pretty much be the same as buying gold if it's mirroring it.
Yeah, kind of, but it still has that situation where you're not buying the actual asset, right? That's the thing when you buy paper gold. It's not the same as buying gold itself. You don't
Hmm.
have it in adverse situations, or you have to trust traditionally. You have to trust third parties or counterparties to hold that paper gold, or say they're holding it and maybe they haven't actually got it. But I
Yeah.
suppose the difference is with synthetic assets, you have trust in the code and the application. So the risk is the code goes wrong or the protocol gets exploited, I'd imagine. But over time, as these applications get better and the security improves and there's more liquidity and everything, you should see it. In my opinion, I'd see that as a preferable way to get exposure to something if I choose not to buy the underlying asset or can't buy the underlying asset.
Yeah. So you do have to over collateralize, it looks like. You have to have
Yeah,
150% of the current asset value in Terra stablecoins.
yeah. So that is for if you want to mint these sort
Oh,
of
okay,
mirrored
mint.
assets, these synthetic assets. So there's two parts to it. So you can be someone who issues a synthetic asset. In other words, you create a market where the synthetic asset's traded.
Hmm.
And then you can be a trader, right, who simply buys that synthetic asset against another cryptocurrency or another stable coin, let's say. So yeah, there's the minting process and then there's just trading it. So if you want to get exposure, you just simply buy these particular assets. It's actually just minted by anyone. It's permissionless. So anyone could come and make a synthetic asset for any particular market. Of course, you need a lot of capital probably to do that, but that's the idea.
So, what is the benefits of minting a synthetic? You would be getting the exchange fees maybe for that asset being traded, or what value do you get for creating for minting an asset?
Yeah, I think you generate fees. I mean, I don't know the technicals
Okay.
of the assets itself, so I wouldn't want to give sort of information that's not accurate. As
Right.
far as I understand it, the minting process of creating a market is different to trading the market. And if someone wants to mint the asset, they need a lot of collateral. I would imagine you can lock up some tokens, create a synthetic asset, provide liquidity for a trading pair, and then trade it. That's kind of how I imagine it. but you're better off speaking to someone a bit more technical, I'd say.
Sure.
Just to get clued up on the minting process, really, because
Yeah,
it's not something I've looked into.
Yeah, I haven't looked that far into synthetics at all because like it's already so much research to do on blockchain as it is. Now we've got then we had NFTs, now we got synthetic assets. It's like how many other financial things are going to come along, and I'm sure there's going to be more. It's just a whole learning process, but this is the future, so got to learn it sooner or later, and I'd rather be learning it sooner than later, so that way I can profit off of it sooner than later.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a good philosophy. And you don't have to learn everything though. Interestingly, with crypto, you can kind of pick your niches a little bit. It's like the stock market. You don't have to learn everything about every aspect of the market. Technical analysis is great for trading any market, and you don't need to know so much about it. But if you're trying to learn how to use blockchain and use its applications, or maybe you want to longer term, you just kind of need to pick your battles, right? You can't learn everything instantly, but you can kind of go, okay, I like DeFi, I like the idea of synthetic assets, I'll go and dive more into that. And then maybe, if you did that or one of the viewers did that, they probably know more than me when it comes to synthetic assets. So
yeah, you're saying on Injective you could trade synthetic assets?
yeah, that's correct. So with Injective Protocol, it's actually one of the projects I'm very bullish on. I've got a sizable position on Injective. It's a decentralized exchange, but also it's its own blockchain on Cosmos. So it's a sovereign Cosmos blockchain built on Tendermint, which then has its Injective exchange built on top. Now, it's not come fully to market yet, but it had a really successful test net with a range of markets. And it's another platform where you can trade synthetic assets and spot markets with an order book model. So it's good for traders because you get the limit orders, you can have stop losses, and hopefully they're going to implement things like OCO orders where one order cancels the other. So you can kind of have like a target above and below for when you buy or sell.
Yeah, the bracket orders are nice. It looks like they were going to have zero gas fees as well.
Yeah, exactly. So they bridge to Ethereum, and you deposit your currency from Ethereum over to Injective, or eventually maybe from other chains as well. And then, yeah, you can just trade with no fees. The fees are actually covered by the validators of the Injective chain, and you just pay the standard exchange fees, like 0 point whatever percent that you would with any other sort of traditional centralized exchange.
It's showing ongoing maintenance on the actual exchange. So that's what you were saying. It's not open yet at the moment. It's not live.
No, that's right. It was live, but it was in like this sort of version of it where you could only deposit $50 and there was very little liquidity. It was basically for people who missed the test net who wanted to just try it out still. Right, so I did a tutorial on it on my channel a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. And at that point, they still had these limitations, but very soon this exchange is coming to market. And I think it's going to be pretty big. It doesn't compete with the Gravity DEX. It doesn't compete with Osmosis or Uniswap, these other sort of swap models, where you can just quickly swap tokens. It's great for users who just want to do a quick swap. I think it kind of caters more towards the traders, right?
Yeah.
The people who want to do their trading on chain permissionlessly without having to trust an exchange, which could, say, rug pull them or take all their money. And it's really just going to have a bit more functionality as far as I understand it. And so, yeah, I'm really keen on it. It's backed by Binance as well. So, it's got some good backing.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking for, is a nice decentralized day trading platform, and it just doesn't exist yet. Or at least I'm not aware of one that is worth using with low fees. I should mention that, with low fees, because there may be one out there, but it's probably super high fees.
I'm not sure there is any that have the proper functionality for trading. You day trade, right, or scalp a lot of the time, and you just don't quite have the functionality you need. There's other order book model exchanges out there. I think Serum's one on Solana, and I used Serum recently. The UI was horrible. And there's also 0x Protocol. But by the way, I hold Serum as an investment, so I'm not just saying that because they're a competitor. I actually have Serum. It's done very well for me, but the UI just wasn't that good. So I think there is a need for, like you say, a decentralized way for traders to trade with full functionalities they need.
Yeah, definitely, because Coinbase Pro is just terrible for day trading. I just use it to press buy and sell. That's pretty much it.
Is it because of the fees on Coinbase
No,
Pro?
the fees aren't that bad. It's just you only have a candlestick chart with a couple of time frames. You only have two EMAs. It's you don't have any volume, so you just have very very limited stuff to work with. So I just have up a candlestick chart because that's all it allows me, and I just press buy or sell. But I use TradingView for my actual charting. So I just have
Yeah,
TradingView up on one screen and have Coinbase Pro on the other.
I'm not sure if Injective's exchange is going to have the functionality. I think is it Think or Swim that you use, or Sink or Swim or something,
Yeah,
for the
Thinkorswim.
stocks. Think or Swim, and that's kind of got all the charting built in, right, for the trading. So that's really neat. Um, I think it does, just because I don't trade stocks, but I've watched a few of your streams, and it looks like everything's all in one
Oh
place.
yeah, yeah. Thinkorswim, yeah, it's all together. You have so many different things. There's all types of different indicators and all that. Like you can customize it to whatever you want, basically.
Yeah, because it's a crazy thing, right? Because in crypto, you just don't have that anywhere. I don't think on any exchange. It's very much
Um, Weeble has a decent desktop platform with a decent selection of indicators and pretty good charts, but Weeble spreads on the cryptos are not great, and they don't have that big of a
okay.
selection yet. I think they're up to 6 cryptos on Weeble. So that's the only one I know of, but it's not decentralized. It's centralized. So
I suppose if you use like something like Binance, right, you can actually pull up the TradingView chart on Binance. So you just use TradingView plugged in,
can
and
you
you get the normal indicators on it.
can people in the U.S. use Binance now? Because I know you could only use the
No,
phone app.
you can only use Binance US in the
Yeah, see,
US.
that's what I'm saying. Like we don't have that many options. They are really limited them here in the U.S. So you just got to
Yeah.
basically use the couple that you have access to. Because I've tried like Kraken and Gemini, and they're all right, but Coinbase and Voyager are still better than those. And I don't know. We need a decentralized trading platform. So hopefully Injective is doing that. What's the ticker symbol for Injective?
Just INJ. Very
INJ,
simple.
is that on Coinbase? I don't think it
It
is it?
has listed on most exchanges now, Injective. So they actually had a period of time where they would get listed on Huobi and Gemini, and they're on Binance already. I'm not sure if they're on Coinbase yet or not. Um,
I'm pulling up on
but
CoinGecko here and see.
the idea I think for Injective is if they're going to really succeed, they need to compete with these centralized exchanges in terms of usability, the
Yeah,
amount of liquidity they have, and the tools they have for traders. And I think if they can do that, they'll be really successful, along with other, you know, protocols or blockchains like Injective. I'm sure if they can get that kind of functionality, they really do stand to compete with centralized exchanges in
man,
that regard.
you got a little jewel here in Injective. Very low circulating supply, still relatively low market cap. This actually
Yeah,
looks pretty decent. As far,
it's had one hell of a run as well. It started off at 65. I think it started off at 80 to 65 cents. When it launched.
oh yeah,
Um, and so if you got in early then, you would have done fantastic. But we've had a big correction now, and I guess it's not a bad level now. It's up about 100% from the lows still. So
yeah. I'm looking at there. It's got a little double bottom on the daily chart, so it looks like it's trying to come back up and break maybe this $10 area soon.
that would be the idea, and then it can continue higher. I suppose, like we discussed on your channel, the crypto market, if it's going to have this sort of altcoin cycle that we've been theorizing, then you could
Right.
imagine Injective will be one that participates in that and does quite well.
Yeah, seriously.
I guess I'll just probably let you know as well with Injective, since we're sort of focusing on it at the moment. It's not just an exchange, right? They sort of started off as an exchange which they were going to build on top of a blockchain, and then it sort of evolved into this sovereign blockchain on Cosmos, right, powered by Tendermint. But it means they can branch out into other DeFi areas. So eventually, their chain is going to have Ethereum compatible applications built on top of it. And they're also looking at things like insurance. They've got Burnt Finance, which is going to be on Solana, which is an NFT marketplace that their Injective is incubating as well. So it looks like they're going to go a little bit further than just the exchange, but that's definitely going to be the main product for Injectives and its chain.
Yeah, okay, that sounds promising. Sounds like it's got a lot of potential.
Definitely do some research, of course, before you
Oh yeah,
jump in if you do go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Nothing's
look
a
into it
guarantee.
more. What's the staking like? Because I see you can stake INJ.
I don't think they've got the highest staking rewards. Last I checked, it was about 5%. My Injective's actually in Super Farm, which is an application on Ethereum. So you can basically get alternative rewards to your normal staking rewards through Super Farm for certain tokens or applications. So I'm quite bullish on Super Farm as well. Quite a low cap now at the moment. It got hit hard in the correction, but yeah. So I haven't looked into Injective staking too much. Last I checked, 5% a year.
Yeah, so it
Which,
looks
yeah, looks
like
like it is there.
5%. Yeah, I'm guessing too. You'll be able to provide liquidity to this exchange.
Yes, I imagine you would be able to. I think they pull their liquidity from other places as well. So it's not just, you have to lock up tokens on Injective. I think they source liquidity from other places, other applications, for example, and that means they can have quite deep liquidity. So yeah, as for the synthetic assets, maybe that's something people can provide liquidity to by creating the markets. Again, I need to do more research really in the synthetic asset area.
Now you did
But that,
mention what it was
yeah.
Injective. You mentioned, or was it Mirror that Terra is going to be a part of?
So Mirror is part of Terra. It's an application built on top
Mirror.
of the
Okay.
Terra ecosystem. Yeah. Um, and what I believe is going to happen, haven't looked at it in a while, so take it as speculation, but I'm pretty sure Mirror assets could be tradable and Injective. So the idea of Injective is they're positioning themselves in the middle of multiple different blockchains, and then they're going to have derivative products from loads of different blockchains all traded on the Injective exchange, mainly with Ethereum and Ethereum assets, first of all. But they're built in the Cosmos ecosystem, so they'll enable IBC, which connects Cosmos blockchain. So Cosmos assets can come over to Injective. And they've even got partnerships with projects on Polkadot, for example, and stuff like that. So they can then go and get assets and derivatives from different things in different ecosystems, essentially. Um, I
Very
haven't got
nice.
the picture today, man, but they have so many partnerships, and that's kind of like a big selling point for me. I think they have over 50 partnerships with different crypto
See if
ecosystems.
I
And
can
maybe if
find them.
we'd pre-planned, I could have got it all for you.
No, that's okay.
But
It looks like Binance, Polygon, like you said, Burnt, Terra, UMA, and then Clayton.
Clayton,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not familiar with that one.
I'm not either, to be fair. But they just have a lot of
Oh,
people.
Mark Cuban's back in it.
Yeah, yeah, big backers, man. I think they're a pretty solid pick. If you're big on synthetic assets, I think they're definitely one that will be around. Um,
Yeah,
and it's just a case of if they can deliver, because they're still early on, right? Let's not forget they don't have the exchange fully live yet, so there's always
right.
work to do in that situation. But promising.
Yeah. And basically, it looks like it's going to be better than the Emirates, the Gravity Dex, and all of that because it is going to have a lot more features.
Yeah, it's going after a different market. I think the Gravity Dex is amazing for the Cosmos Hub and Atom. Um, the fact you can just swap from the Emirates dashboard by connecting Kepler is ideal for most people. When you think about it, a lot of people just want to quickly buy some tokens or quickly sell some tokens, right?
Right.
It's only us traders. We kind of live in a different world, right? We have to look
Yeah.
at these indicators, use stop losses, and I think that's what Injective caters more towards.
I don't think I've heard of any other projects quite like Injective.